Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is my first time to go live on Facebook, and I figure, hey, no time like the present, right? So, I just realized about 5 seconds before going live, I'm like, oh, I think the Super Bowl's today. So I'm going out to my garage. I'm gonna light up a little fire out here. I'm gonna set my camera up, and I got some extra propane. So I've been going live the last 2 nights on YouTube, and I figured, hey, I'll mix it up. But I had a little challenge I set with my buddy Nash, and we decided that we were going to go live for a week straight minimum, and so that's what we're doing. Just 1 second here, guys. Just get the propane turned on. And so yeah, we said we were going to go live for a week straight. Now, he mentioned something to me. He said that okay. I just want to make sure this is public. He said that with his, he initially had it on private. So we'll see. We'll see if we got some people that log in or not. Maybe I'm doing this right. Maybe I'm not. Let's see. I gotta get this done quick. So for all of those here, here's my garage. So got the truck, trash can, of course, four-wheeler, fitness trampoline, which is awesome. Obviously computer, a little that, here's my heater. It's gonna keep me warm. Got the bike up. It's a little muddy right now. And just hung that bad boy today. Got a nice boxing bag here, so we'll be toning up for some cardio here soon. Pull-up bar, boom, boom. The most important piece of the garage in the first place. Why? Because America. Anyways, guys, I get a little distracted here. Battle ropes, and then for climbing on the roof, and also pulling around stuff, because we got to pull stuff around. So anyways, we got this little heater here not too long ago, and it's terrific. But the other night, it puckered out on me in the middle of a live, like right at the start, and I was freezing cold the whole time. So it was not fun, but you know, it is what it is. So let me see if I can do this. I want to make sure that I'm in frame. I'm not sure how to actually think about this, because I want to turn it around for the other camera. It's going to be better as far as the stuff, but I kind of need to, I wonder if I can log in and see myself from my computer. We'll see. Let's try this out. So anyways, I got this little tripod kit, and this thing will kick on the light here in a second. We're still here, but kick that light on. And let's see, there you go. That's intensity. There we go. So I'll flip the camera around here in just 1 second. Let me see here. This is tell you what, just I'm gonna move this back here, and then Josiah's watching, so tell you what, let me know if this is, if I'm actually lined up properly here. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do real quick. I'm gonna go hop into Facebook on my computer and see if I can see what I can find out here. So give me just 1 second, guys. Apparently my internet is on hiatus. Who knows? Let's see here. Or maybe it's that I'm live. Disconnect the VPN. There we go. Okay, so here's my story. Let's see if I can walk. Oh, okay. Okay, I can sort of see myself. Pretty big lag here. Maybe, possibly. Ah, okay, cool. We are in frame. That's fantastic. Very fantastic. Actually, I was just viewing my story, not myself live. So, let's see if I can tighten this up a hair. Tighten this up, guys. You know, the first time that you do something, it's always a little difficult, and that's okay, but we're gonna get better. So, all right, I'm watching a live video of myself now. A little difficult, and turn the audio down. Can't hear me. Okay. Tell you what, give me 1 second, and let me see if I can get a little fix here on the live. We're gonna have a good time tonight, guys. This is gonna be fun. All right. Sorry, guys. I am back here now. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can get some audio rocking and rolling, and have a little bit more fun with this. All right. Let's get this here. Set on up. So, this way. There we go. All right. 1 second. I gotta pull the phone case off here so I can get this done. We're gonna pop that boy in. 1 second. Okay. Let's see. All right, test. Oh, that sounds pretty good. It looks pretty good on my show there. Looks pretty good on the microphone. So, guys, how's the audio now? Can y'all hear better? Is it coming in nice and hot? Dana, what's up? Who else is in here? Hey, Mom, if you're in here, I can't tell who all. Let's see here. We got that overview. Applies. This is a. How can I not see who else is in here? Sorry, guys. This is a little work in progress. We're first time going live on Facebook, trying to figure a few things out. Apparently, I need some coaching around this not as good as before. Oh, okay. I wonder if this is working with audio or not. Well, we've missed you too, Dana. Let me see here. Yeah, I can't really tell one way or the other if we're on there. Let's see. Guys, I think I'm just gonna turn this around. That'll be a little bit easier. That way I can at least see. And like I said, first time doing this, so work in progress, man. Work in progress. All right, there we go. I don't know if the audio's there or not. Let's, there we go. Camera's not as good, but that is A-okay. Let's bring her in here a little more tightly. Let's turn up the lighting. Because, hey, why not, right? Anyways, guys, so I have no idea when the Super Bowl is. I realize it's today at some point. And so I made, oh, hey, what's up, Chris? So I made a commitment with my buddy Nash, and I said, hey, I'm going to be going live for an hour every day for a minimum of a week. So here I am. I went live on YouTube the last 2 days, and it was just kind of, I don't know, technical troubles, whatever. So I decided, hey, I'm going to go live here and just chop it up. So I've got a Davidoff cigar here for anybody who knows what that is. It's like half a cigar. Just didn't smoke the whole thing. But these things are wonderful. So I've kind of gotten into cigar smoking a little bit since going on the Bradley podcast. I wanted to smoke a little one, and then I met Josh Evarts down in Boise, and so I called him up down there at the vault, and I was like, man, I need to learn something about cigars because I don't know anything at all. And he was super gracious, and he gave me a okay. Hey, thanks for popping in, Mom. Appreciate you watching. Tell Grandma and Grandpa I said hello and I love them. Anyways, back to Josh. So he gave me a little one-on-one, and really just like talked to me about the history of tobacco, which I was pretty unaware of. And it has such a negative connotation these days, smoking does, cigarettes, etc., which, I mean, obviously there's a million ingredients in there. But what I didn't know about cigars is like this cigar has 3 ingredients. It's like tobacco, a wrapping leaf, and I think he said one other, maybe like an outer wrapping leaf. It's phenomenal. So there's really like not much in there. You're not inhaling, you're not doing a lot of the stuff. And so for the longest time, I didn't actually understand why people did it, or like the big hype on it. Oh, hey, what's up, Josh? Hey, I appreciate you signing on, brother. Had a great time this week. So anyways, I've got Josh's. If anybody wants to know about cigars, he is the man. Super cool, super grateful for the education and the knowledge that he imparted. And as I learn more, I'm probably going to have to yeah, I'm probably going to have to take another class on it and actually be like, okay, like I'm into this. I need to learn some of the stuff because it's pretty cool. And since I've done this, yeah, inhaling those is a bad idea. Yeah, Yeah, I did it on accident once, and I was like, oh, that was rough. No good. But no, they're great. They're great, and so I'm out here in my garage all the time now. And we were actually just in Costco yesterday thinking about getting a TV to put out here, which I don't really need other than, I don't really watch TV, but I watch podcasts and stuff, and so I'm big on YouTube and watching all of that, and so of course I want to do that. So anyways, guys, cigars, super cool, love them, super appreciative of Josh for the education on it. So, actually, I think I'm going to get a little extra lighting out here real quick, just so we can spruce up this background. Y'all give me 1 second. Hadn't even thought of this, but this'll be cool. It'll look cool, guys. And I was just talking with Josh the other evening, and he was saying, hey, he was talking about his son and always being prepared. And I'll tell you what, right now, apparently I am not prepared. But, I'll say there's something to be said also for just going for something and saying, hey, I'm going to do this. I've committed to it. So whether I am, whether I'm not, you don't get prepared on day one, because then day one never happens. You never get there at all. It doesn't work. All right, let me see if this is, how's that look? Maybe we'll angle it back here. Sorry, I got a lag here, and so I can't fully tell. Actually, we'll go even more fun. There we go. There we go. I think this is better. All right. Yeah, so I turned off the garage lights. We got full-on studio lighting in here. Not really, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Hey, Mike, man, long time no see. Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, hey, it's good to see you too. So yeah, starting may be the most important thing, actually. I think it's prohibitive for a lot of people that they get so intimidated that they're going to appear a certain way. They're worried what people are going to think. They're worried about the judgment, and ultimately, perceived judgment of others is what holds, in my opinion, more people back than almost anything. It's not actually that they have a lack of limitations, a lack of resources, a lack of ability. Oftentimes, it's actually a simple lack of, or it's perceived judgment that people have. And it's this fear. So I talk about it a little bit in my book. Bronnie Ware wrote the book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, or I may be murdering the title, but it's something like that. And one of the biggest regrets is that people wish they had the courage to be true to themselves. They wish they had the courage to bet on themselves, because at some point you get to the end and you realize it was all going to end anyways. So if it was going to end anyways, then why not bet on yourself? Why not? Why are you going to let some perceived judgment of someone stop you from doing the things that you really want to do? So anyways, we're going to go back here, but I don't really have an agenda for this conversation, guys. I'm here. If y'all want to chat it up in the comments, we can. If y'all want to talk about different things, I did print off a sheet, which is phenomenal. I don't know who's done this, but let me give me 1 second, and I'll explain it to you. Oh yeah. There we go. Oh, yeah. Whew. Josh, if you're still on here, man, these Davidoffs, these bad boys are smooth. And I'm going to have to talk to you about me and Stella. We only made it like halfway through this one, and I'm like, do we save it? How do we save it? How do we redo it? You know, we'll have to. You'll have to teach me up on that. Phenomenal though. So, anyways, guys, I printed off. This thing is, it's the Cognitive Bias Codex. This guy Buster Benson, actually, he went deep on cognitive biases a few years ago, and I'm pretty sure he has an app. I need to actually check. I'm like, where's my phone? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm streaming from it. So there's actually an app on cognitive biases. And why is this important at all? All right, I don't know if my sound's working or not. Why are cognitive biases important? Well, the more you learn about these things, you'll learn about your nature. The more you'll learn about common fallacies that we sort of buy into. And ultimately, you know, I was thinking about this yesterday, and I made some videos on it. I got to edit them so I can publish them up. But what I find is that people can be successful in a myriad of ways, in a variety of ways. But oftentimes people fail in very codified ways. Like the ways are very similar. And so when you start thinking about that, when it comes to cognitive biases, you can start understanding your behavior more. And so cognitive biases are a little bit different than cognitive distortions. Like an example of a cognitive distortion would be all or nothing thinking, right? So you think, I missed this job interview. My life is going to hell. I'm never going to get employed. I'm going to totally go broke. I'm going to be living under a bridge. And the world is just falling down, right? That's all or nothing. Instead of being like, okay, well, I'll probably get another job interview, and it may take me sending out 100 more resumes. I don't know what it is, but it's not the end of the world. That's a cognitive distortion. But cognitive biases are a little bit different. So like one of them, in the book Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman and what's the other author's name? Amos Tversky, Amos something. He actually, unfortunately, passed away, I think, from cancer in like 2001, something like that, 2004. Really a shame because they're both brilliant guys. And it's a phenomenal book. It was a little long for me to read, but they come up with a cognitive bias, of course, that people value what they have and what they're willing to lose more than what they're willing to gain. And so if you already have something, like let's say it's $20, but you will hold on to that $20 pair of shoes or whatever. You're like, dude, I haven't worn these in 3 years. Why am I still holding on to them? And you're holding on to them because that's part of the cognitive bias, that we are more attached to those things. So what's fascinating about these cognitive biases, and I may go on a YouTube video or series and make a YouTube series over some of these just to get this more disseminated. And this is not necessarily my work. I'm just, going off of what somebody else says. But it's super important. So one is like confirmation bias. Well, what is confirmation bias? Right? You make a decision and then you start searching out for evidence to confirm that decision, that was the right decision in the first place. Cool. Well, how does that impact you and affect your life if you don't understand that principle. Maybe you make a shitty decision and you kind of know it was, but then you go out there and inherently look for all the information to prove that you made a decent decision, when in fact, all the evidence would suggest that you didn't. Well, that's how that shows up. Another one is the sunk cost fallacy, right? And so what is that? It's like, okay, well, you have sunk cost in certain projects. And then often, at least in my experience, that one is also coupled with escalation of commitment. And so sunk cost, escalation of commitment. It's like, oh, I tried to start this business. I threw 50 grand into that, right? Sunk cost. You're like, I threw 50 grand. The costs are sunk. Can't get it back. So then what do? You escalate the commitment. You're like, hey, that was a bad decision. I shouldn't do that. I don't want to actually just wreck my life. But what do? You escalate that commitment because you have this huge sunk cost. And so what does that lead to? Well, usually it leads to a dark place. Because I wish I could see who was on here right now. I would talk a little bit more. If y'all want me to talk about some specific stuff, chime in the comments. Dana, I would love to have you come visit, by the way. It's magical out here. It's wonderful. Idaho, literally my favorite state ever so far. Coming from Texas, I never thought I would love Idaho this much. In fact, I moved over here and I thought, yeah, I'll keep my Texas plates. I thought, yeah, I'll keep that Texas number. I'll do all of that. And now I'm like, nah, no. Switched Idaho number, Idaho plates on the car, Idaho plates on the truck. I'm like, nah, man, Idaho's awesome. The people here are actually the best thing. The people are magical. Hey, I appreciate that, Chris. Yeah, it's where I live doesn't suck. So I've got access to the national forest, probably about a quarter mile from my front door. So that's pretty cool because I can literally just go hiking there, but I don't even have to go in there. Yeah, she'll come visit at some point, Dana. Probably in the summer. I'm betting August-ish, something like that. But, the views are insane. I'll literally walk down to the mailbox. The mailbox is about a mile down the road. And so I'll just walk down there. And so I'm on the top of a mountain. So I got to walk down the mountain and walk back up. And it's phenomenal. It's beautiful. It's magical. And here's the crazy thing, right? Because everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's cold. It's whatever. I think it's sunnier here than it is in Dallas. There's actually more sun here than in Dallas. But the heat is totally different. So last summer, it was like I would go outside at 10 p.m. and it would be 98 degrees, crazy high humidity, and I'm just drenched in sweat, right? You can't get a break. But here, the difference is the days are warm. Like I was out earlier doing some stuff, Sunday, little house cleaning, etc. And I'm outside and I'm in a short sleeve t-shirt. Sun feels great, super sunny, super nice. But that sun goes down and temperature drops. And all of a sudden you got ice. Guys, I don't know how to stop the thumbs up. All of a sudden you got ice forming and like puddles and whatnot. And so that's fun. And so in the summer, our neighbors have told us the same thing. Yeah. So it'll get up into the 90s, maybe even over 100 during the day. But then at night, it might fall into the 60s or 70s. So you have this bigger temperature gradient. And for me, that's really exciting. I really love that. So you have this crisp air compared to Dallas. It's like you can't breathe. And some people are actually predisposed to not breathing so well in humidity. All right, guys, apparently my light went out there. Give me 1 second. I'll turn on the garage light. My battery died. All right, well, it is always an adventure here. It is always an adventure. So it's really sunny. It's really bright. You have this wonderful temperature gradient. It doesn't feel that cold, like I'm wearing a vest right now, and I got the heater going. But like it will get cold, but it just doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel the same. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's up, Megan? Yeah, I'm trying to get everybody to move here. Why? I want all my friends here. I want all the best people in the world here. And yeah, Idaho is a wonderful secret. So, but only good people. Only good people. Because Idaho people are so wonderful. And Dana, if you want to hitch a ride, come on. It's great. I got plenty of room here. House is like 2,700 square feet. Got plenty of rooms, plenty of stuff, and there's no shortage of things to do. So it's fantastic. No poor fool. Yeah, no, Idaho. The world needs more of Idaho. The world needs more of Idaho for sure. Hey, what's going on, Nikita? If you're still on there, I can't see who's on or not. I'm not even sure how I got over here on this topic, but Idaho's phenomenal. I love this place. I love the people. Boise as a town, wonderful, beautiful. Oh my gosh, the grass, the trees, all of the stuff. It's just like, and if you've never been here, like, don't worry, because I wasn't either. I actually, so last year we decided, hey, we're going to move, and we're leaving Texas, especially, going into 2024. We're like, dude, this year is going to be weird. 2020 in Dallas, dude, it was a shit show. It was horrible. And, we were just like, dude, like, we're done. This city doesn't even, I don't even hardly recognize the city compared to how it was 5-10 years ago. And so I was like, all right, we're going to move. So we just pulled up a map, and I was like, dude, I've always wanted to live in the mountains. I've always wanted to live, especially in like the Rocky Mountains, especially at a little bit of an altitude and drier climate. That's where I wanted to be. And I really wanted to be in sort of the Pacific Northwest. So you just pull up a topo map, and you can tell where the places are. Just look at the green. So I wanted to be in a place that had trees, that had beauty, that had nature, and so really, like, we landed on western Wyoming, western Montana, and Idaho. And why those? Well, of course, could have gone to Oregon or Washington, but not a huge fan of some of the politics that are going on. Those things are being driven by their bigger cities, and well, you don't have that in Idaho yet. So that's part of how I got over here. And then, so we pull up, I think it was Zillow, and we're like just looking, because we're like, dude, we're not ready to buy. We're not ready to do something like that. We don't even know if we like this. All I've done is driven through northern Idaho, like Coeur d'Alene or whatever it is, twice. And I'm like, I don't even know if I like this, but I want to be close enough to a major airport that I can fly out for business and travel, and close enough to a major city. But beyond that, obviously mountains, etc. And so this house was for rent. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this. Maybe it's a car, maybe it's a house, maybe it's a person, whatever. Like, this thing just sort of popped out and formed a relationship with me. And I was like, dude, I like this place. Like, there's something about it. They didn't even have that many pictures up. Like, the pictures don't do this place justice at all. I'm like, just not even close. And so went ahead and signed a lease, sight unseen. Never flew over to Boise. Hadn't ever been here. Didn't do, we're just like, leaving, man. Goodbye. Getting out of Texas. So that's kind of that story. And best decision I've made in the last decade of my life. Best decision. Phenomenal. Dana, that was a great surprise on my 21st. I have to say, it breaks my heart how many people out there do not have as good of, and this will sound arrogant or whatever, but do not have as good of a mother and family and friends as I've had growing up. I feel super blessed. Now, that being said, obviously, Dana, I've got one side of my family that's batshit crazy. Let's call them what they are. But I've also been truly, truly blessed as far as, having you, my mom, and others in my life that just did really cool stuff. I mean, that was really cool. So for those of you watching that don't know about this, I was living up in Rogers, Arkansas, which is around the Fayetteville, Bentonville area, famously like Walmart, whatever. And I was going to a community college for a semester up there. I was kind of debating around. I had never been out of Conway. Well, that's not true. I lived in Destin for 2 summers, and I was dating a girl up there, and we kind of were wanting to have a more serious relationship. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll move up there, and we'll see how this goes. And it was cool. So I went up there, and I turned 21, April 2nd. And I guess that was, 2009? And so my mom and Dana, I wasn't expecting anything. They just show up. It's about 3 hours away. They just show up on my birthday and surprised me and made it a big thing. And then we went out, and my mom doesn't drink, but her best friend Dana will occasionally have some margaritas. And so we went out and we got a margarita on my 21st, and Dana was there, and it was really cool. It was really, really cool, and it was so memorable. So thank you for that, Dana. It was wonderful. And we love you too. I know you're a big karaoke person, so if you decide to come out, I have some extra computer monitors. We'll pull them out in the garage, and we'll set up a speaker system, and we'll do a karaoke night in the garage, and we'll torture all the neighbors. So that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's fantastic here. So I spend a ton of time in the garage. I don't know why. It's the cool place to be. Plus, you can smoke cigars here, and cigar smoking is like one of the cool, fun things. Oh, I didn't realize I don't remember you being drunk then. Well, it happens. It happens to the best of us. I think so. There's a place down the road. It's called the Clear Creek Lodge, and I have not yet been down there for food, which no surprise there because I think their food's a little scary. But I think they have a karaoke night. So it takes about probably 8 to 10 minutes of driving on a dirt road getting up to my house. This is one of those things that you find out when you lease a site unseen. And so the road, it's not bad. It's like in Arkansas, you can get some dirt roads that are pretty wild. The dirt out here is a little bit different. So it doesn't seem to be a problem. And at the bottom of that dirt road, there's this place. It's kind of like middle of the range, and it's a small restaurant, whatever. And it's kind of fun. So I think I saw something on Nextdoor that they have some karaoke or something every now and then. So maybe we could pop down there and do that. Dana is a cool lady. What's up, Naomi? Hey, keep up that boxing. I'll show you. I just hung this bad boy today, if you can see that. Hung up the heavy bag. Picked it up down in Boise the other day. So that's a lot of fun. Pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to getting back in shape there. Get my cardio up a hair. Get things rolling. Yeah, maybe we're not missing anything. We'll just set up our own karaoke studio in the garage and we'll blast it out. We will serenade the neighbors. Which, so this house is on, I don't know, it's like 4.5 acres. I can see some other houses from here. You can hear if people like use a blower to, do some stuff, whatever. But for the most part, it's pretty remote, which is awesome. So we're pretty out there. Have a Starlink unit. That's how we get the internet. So the stream is sometimes solid, sometimes not so solid. But that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, Naomi, you would love it, by the way. I know you love the mountains. And I remember going over to Gatlinburg and in the Smokies. But it is so special in this corner of the world. It is unbelievable. If you've never been out here, if you've never been to Boise, dude, plan a trip. Like, I promise. You'll just be like, dude, I got to move. The people are so cool. They're so nice. The weather is fantastic. It's so sunny. It's like, I just can't rave about Idaho enough. It's so cool. It's just such a wonderful, magical place. So if you've never been, take a trip, man. Take a trip. So this is way more fun being on Facebook. I've been on YouTube the last 2 nights, and I haven't had anybody comment. I haven't done any of that. So I've just been like chatting it up, and I'm like, whatever. I'll just talk to the camera. But this is cool. This is nice, guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in. This is really cool. Yeah, actually, so it's been a mild winter. At one point, we had about 3 feet on the ground, maybe 4 feet. This has been a super mild winter, according to people around here. But yeah, it would, on a normal winter, it would not, be wild for there to be, 6 feet on the ground, 8 feet on the ground right now. So where I'm at up in the mountains, like Boise doesn't get that much. They get some, but this is actually technically a more arid climate. But just this special spot in the mountains apparently just gets dumped on with snow. So it's been really cool. It had to buy a 4-wheeler with a plow on it to plow the snow, and even had to hire a service to take down the walls and whatnot and plow the drive once because it was just too much. Like the 4-wheeler couldn't even do it, and it's just like, yep, nope, not doing that. So yeah, you definitely have 4 seasons here. Yeah, I don't know. I've never met Dave. Wasn't really cool as far as So what Megan in the chat is saying there is there's a neighbor, and Stella's dogs got out, and so the male dog had an eye infection, and so he has like the cone of death, right, on his head, and this guy is like, they're boxers, but it's like you see a dog wearing a cone, like a protective cone, like give me a break. So anyways, apparently one of our neighbors came out with a gun and was like, I'm going to shoot this dog. And I'm like, I wasn't there. But, yeah, it's just like, dude, give me a break. Come on, man. We can do better. So anyways, yeah, Gatlinburg and the Smokies are really cool. So my Uncle John lives over in Knoxville. And the Smokies are actually they're interesting. They have a little bit of a unique geography around there. So they have this weird medley of just different varieties of species, etc. And so you've got like tons of different trees, tons of different plants, tons of different things. And the seasons are magical. So you actually don't have that here as much, like that variety. You've got a lot of pine, a lot of cedars, a lot of firs, things like that. But you actually have a little bit more over there. Obviously, it gets a lot more rain, higher humidity, but it's actually pretty temperate year round. And so that temperate yet mixed with precipitation and moisture makes for this wonderful, wonderful blend of just all this nature. And so, yeah, if somebody's listening and you've never been to Gatlinburg, if you've never been to the Smoky Mountains, take a trip. Just go. Yeah. So, for anybody still on here, let me see here. Originally, I was talking about cognitive biases. I got a new printer. My other printer wasn't doing so well, and yeah. So we got black bears. We got wolves. We got mountain lions. We've got a variety of things. I think somebody mentioned that they've seen like a grizzly occasionally, but we don't really have grizzlies. They don't come this far south. It's also a little bit dry for them, so it'd be pretty rare. But yeah, definitely black bear. So when I go like walk down to the mailbox, I've either got bear spray or a gun. It's in the winter, so bears are hibernating, but definitely those when going for a walk. You can, it just takes a short search on YouTube to go out there and find people that mountain lions will come up on them when they're going for a run, for a walk, whatever. And yeah, I'm like, nah, I'll just, oh yeah, coyotes and moose. Yeah. Oh, I've got elk and turkey in my backyard all the time. The elk are mainly down in the lower areas right now because there's so much snow on the ground. But yeah, turkeys all the time. Dude, the turkeys are like insane. Like almost every time I drive to town, there's like turkeys in the middle of the road. And I'm just like, dude, like it's wild. Like so much wildlife. Matter of fact, I made a video yesterday. Dan, if you want me to send it to you, I can. One of the things I love about Boise so much is I go down there and it's like literally was going into a shopping center and there's ducks. There's just like ducks waddling around and these ducks are a little fat. Beautiful, beautiful ducks. And then I'm pulling out of a gas station and there's a field next door and there's geese, like probably 40, 50 geese right there. I mean, it's filled and just teeming with wildlife. And I grew up in Arkansas and like Arkansas has a lot of wildlife, but the wildlife here is just insane. There's so much of it. So, yeah, we also have some other stuff. There's a lot of stuff around here. Hey, what's up, Caitlin? Yes, long time no see. I am doing phenomenal, and yes, getting away from Dallas was probably one of the better decisions. If you want to watch it back, you'll hear the story, or just text me, whatever. Moving was a great decision. So it's phenomenal. I like it over here. It's great. People are great, but Dallas is great too. Dallas was great. Dallas was good to me for a long time. A lot of reasons, a lot of stuff. It was cool. So, yeah, I just did this podcast with Bradley on dropping bombs, and so now every time I'm going live or whatever, I'm like, dude, I gotta have some water or something there. So the podcast went, and I'm in the waiting room, and my best friend Zach was there. He happened to be in Vegas, and then my buddy Shelby came over, and he was just there. We were there to kick it. And we're sitting in there and we're waiting. And he walks in. He's like, "All right, you ready to go?" And it was like no time. I was like, "Dude, I gotta take a leak first, you know." So go use the restroom and forgot to grab a water. And it was like no time to prep or anything. And so like in the podcast, the microphone boom arm is like swinging around. And I'm like, dude, if I had 60 seconds, I would have just tightened this thing up and got it in position and, you know, make sure I like look decent on camera and stuff. But you know, you live and you learn. You got to do more and you'll figure it out. So anyways, the thing I learned is always have a little something for the voice, because, you know, especially smoking cigars, you know, your mouth gets a little dry, whatever, and it's nice to have something there. Anyways, going back here. So a minute ago, I was talking about cognitive biases for whoever's still on there. I wonder if I can. I'm just gonna lean in here, guys. Let's see. Can I see who's on here? Okay, so apparently, yeah. Okay, I can do that on my phone. That's nice to use. Who knows, the computer's a little weird here. So a minute ago, I was talking about cognitive biases, and I think I'm going to do a YouTube series on them, maybe. I don't know. I just make stuff and create it and whatever. So I was talking about cognitive biases and how important they are, and it's amazing how much these things control us and control our lives. And we think we're just making decisions all the time, and we've got sorry, my eyes bother me here. And we think we've got a solid foundation for how to go through life. And then you learn that we're not always logical. We're not always these different things. And oftentimes we fall into cognitive biases or cognitive distortions. Wow. And in some of these different thinking fallacies. And what they do is oftentimes they control our lives way more than we would like. And and it doesn't have to be that way. Once you get a little bit more knowledge, once you learn about these things, your life can change so fast. You can start to recognize, oh, shit, like this is a sunk cost fallacy, or this is confirmation bias, or this is escalation of commitment. And then you're like, oh, I can step back from this and make different decisions and recognize that I can get in the driver's seat. I can take the wheel on life, and I can do these things. And, you know, for me, that's really cool. To be able to understand and see and sort of handle some of that. Let me see here. I'm trying to. My buddy Nash is going to be going live again, and I'm wondering. I haven't heard back from him yet. I don't think. Wait. I just sent him a message quick. Cool. All right, apparently he's watching the Super Bowl with his son. Good for him. Nash is a great dude. Great dude. He lives over in Nashville. Although I foresee him having massive success over the next year, and then at some point maybe stepping away from or Nashville and coming like going someplace he really likes. We talked about moving down to Mexico. For those of you that don't know, I actually was going to move to Mexico before moving out here. And so the original plan, because I was so worried about the winter, I was like, dude, it's going to be gray and gloomy and like I'm a sun guy. I need some sun. I need I need light. I'm a big person on ambience, atmosphere, environment, design, all of that. And so I was like, dude, like that ain't gonna work for me. Nashville is phenomenal, Dana. I love it. But so I was going to go to Playa del Carmen for 6 months, and so I actually flew down there in September and was looking at some different places, was looking at getting some rentals, and was going to live down there for 6 months, and then put everything in storage in Dallas, and then come back and then move over here. And I went down there, and it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it was time. It felt like I needed to focus on different things, and that was going to take a little bit too much work to make happen. There was just too much friction there. And so it was actually, I think I got back like September 15th, right? So this will tell you how fast I made things happen. I think I got back September 15th and decided, no, that's not the right decision. I need to just go ahead, go to the mountains and make that move. And I moved into this place October 16th. So that's 31 days. And that was 31 days. Like there was a lot of friction there. So had to do a lot of stuff, obviously, in order to make that happen. But anyways, he was down in Mexico back in December and loved it. I love Mexico. Mexico's magical if you've never been. The people are great, wonderful place. And so anyways, that's just a little history of, all the crazy wild stuff that I'm into, because I like doing stuff, man. We got one life here as far as we know, so why not have fun with it? Why not have fun with it? But also, like, learn as much as you can. And then, so part of what I'm doing now is like, everybody on social media is always like, oh, bro, disappear for 6 months and do whatever and then come back and like be a different person. Well, I disappeared for like 6 years, 5 years, 6 years, and sort of stepped back and really had to figure some things out in life. And it was like, all right, like cognitive biases are one of those things. You start figuring those things out and you start figuring out some fundamentals on how you can change your life. And it's pretty cool how fast you can change your life. It's pretty cool the things that you can do. And oftentimes you have no idea, just absolutely no idea how fun life can be and how it can actually get easy. And you can let go of a lot of the false beliefs that drive your behaviors. You can let go of a lot of the scarcity mentality. And the easiest way that I know how to say it is, I think so many people focus on what's wrong versus what's right, on what's missing versus what's present, on what's unavailable versus what's available. And so once you shift that mindset and you just start looking for all the stuff that is present, you start becoming more resourceful. You start becoming more present. You start enjoying life at a higher degree. And it doesn't always reflect that way to other people. But for me, like my life, my quality of life has never been higher. It's never been higher because I just enjoy life so much. And then I think because of that, I get to do bigger and bigger things in life. So, so that's part of what has precipitated everything that I'm doing now. And this year is really a year of making known. 2024 is a year of, in 2022, I sort of laid the foundation. 2023, I worked on implementation, more back-end systems. Obviously, I published my book and really worked on like back-end offers, et cetera, and putting systems in place so that I could massively, grow in a certain way that I'm comfortable with. Because everybody is like, oh, bro, you've got to do it this way, or, it's going to take you doing all of these things. And oftentimes, that's not the case. It's just the limitations. And when people tell you that, what they're really saying is, I don't know another way to do this, so this is how I'm going to tell you that it has to be done. But that's not always true. Like, we know that. And you can find all sorts of examples in life where it's not true. You can find all sorts of examples where you don't have to be on the road 300 days a year. If you're somebody who's like, dude, I don't want to have a bunch of clients that I don't want to work with, you don't have to work with those. And I think a lot of people, they think they have to work with people they don't want to, or that suck energy from them, or they have to do activities that aren't invigorating or add value to their life or really in their wheelhouse. And oftentimes they just haven't been exposed to the idea and the structures that allow them to focus in their zone of genius, and then to operate there and then learn to just piece out the other parts. And that's been a big learning journey for me, because I love to learn. I love to know all the intricacies, and I just want to do it all. And so part of that is, I think there's some real value there. Alex Hormozy talks about this stuff a lot. And how did he become so proficient? Well, he's had a decade of implementation, of work, et cetera. And so that's how you get really good. You get really good by doing something consistently over time and going through all the work. And then at that point, once you understand things, then you bring people in, then you outsource it, then you work on that. And I'm not saying you have to understand everything, because you don't. But like, for me, it's important to understand how the different parts work. Dude, my eye is like crazy red. I don't know if I got some dust in it or what out here. Then you get all of those pieces put together, and you're able to grow. And so the beautiful thing with the online world, with a lot of the stuff that I'm working on now, is that so much of it is automated. Like, so much of it is automated as far as like fitness programs and like coaching. And, I can have 10 people on a call, or I can have 100 people, but that doesn't really change the amount of work that I'm doing. It just changes the amount of people in the scale that it goes out to, which is phenomenal, because, well, what do I want to do? I want to impact more people. I want to have a greater influence. Why? Because I've discovered a lot of stuff that is meaningful to me, that has really helped me out, and I would like to pass that on to other people. So it's wild how that works. Dana, I would be more than happy just to send you a signed copy. So I've got some hardcovers here. I've got some paperbacks. Personally, I prefer paperback for reading, but the hardcover looks better on the shelf. So just depends on which one you want. I don't know if you have an actual physical copy or not of it. If you don't, it's such a cool book. Like, the layout, the formatting, and all of that. I was really specific with the publisher. I was like, dude, like, we got to nail certain things, because I want to bring a feel to the reader. I want to bring an experience. And here's something that I believe. I think so many people with books these days are they yeah, sure, I'll shoot you my Venmo. And I'll just text me, shoot me your address. I'll shoot you my Venmo, and just shoot me some money there if you want. But so many people today, they're writing books without the reader in mind. They're writing books in the format, like old school books were like, hey, give me a second, guys, I'm going to lose this cigar. Ooh. Feels like we're losing it there. So many people were writing books in the old school way, which if you think about like the Gutenberg press and all of that, it was like, okay, paper is super expensive, so we need to have as many words on every single page as we can, and have these densely formed paragraphs, and ultimately, like, you have to build more of a skill to read that stuff. And so with mine, I wanted to make it something that was easy to read. I wanted to make it something that was unique, like really unique, to the point that it was so easy to read. And I targeted it for men for a specific reason, because I think that's who I'm best positioned to serve, because I struggle with a lot of things. Now, in the book, the principles that are in the book, dude, they're applicable to anybody and everybody. First of all, like, they're universal. Now, some of the stuff is, I wouldn't necessarily say as applicable to women, because, I mean, obviously, like, men and women are different. And this book really talks a lot more about, being the best man that you can be, and goals, et cetera, et cetera. But these aren't different for women necessarily. It's just like there are some different priorities depending on if you're an entrepreneur or not, or what it may be. But the reader experience, what I wanted is, because I've got I know so many guys that they're wonderful guys, but they struggle to read. Like, they struggle to make it through a page of like tiny text with densely formatted, with text, and it's like, how do you remember that? How do you make something more conversational? And so I decided, I was like, dude, like, I don't have to follow the rules. I can make my own rules. And that's something in my book as well. And so what did I do? I made my own rules, and I wrote it in a manner of a book that I would want, that would read super easy. So you can pick it up and you can read 20 pages, no problem. And it's engaging and it's fun, because I use all sorts of, capitalization in it. And then I almost write it like email copy, which, if you're familiar with, it's just, it flows, right? And so the physical book is a really special experience, at least to me. So I'm really proud of it. So Dan, I would love to send you a copy. I think you'll really enjoy it. But if you haven't listened to it, I actually wrote it with the intention for it to be listened to, because I think so many people listen to audiobooks these days. All right, let me get a little. Hold on, I figured this out the other day. Turn it down, maybe, or maybe I turned it up. I don't know. Hold on, let me. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Try not to burn my fingers here. Perfect. We're running low here, guys. Running low on the cigar. Thank you, Dana. I appreciate that. I think you'll really like it if you listen to it or read it. It doesn't actually have a lot about my story in there. It has a little bit about my story. So some people, they get it and they're like, oh, I was wanting to know more. And I'm like, dude, I'll write a tell-all. I'll write a tell-all of the dancing days and some of the wild debauchery I engaged in, which was a ton of fun. But at the same time, this one is more necessary in the world today. And it's more necessary for a lot of the guys out there to learn these things. And so these just aren't, they're not things that I learned growing up. And I, as I've shared it, after I went on the podcast, man, I've had so many messages flooding in, emails, text, people signing up on the website to share similar things. Is like, they're right there as well. And they're like, dude, like, I had wonderful parents, but they just didn't have a recipe for success at life. And they did the best they could. They did all of these things, but they didn't have a formula. And if you can get a formula and you can discover some secrets, because there are secrets, there are patterns to life. And if you can discover some of that stuff, it's like, holy shit, dude, your life can just change so fast. And you can just start living at a level you didn't even know of. So there's an audio book out on Amazon, Dana. If you want to go grab that, just check it out. It's great. Oh Lord, yeah. Maybe I don't need to write a tell-all. Nikita knows some of that. Yeah, there was some wildness that happened back in the day. Wildness. Some of it was good. Some of it was painful to recall. But it was a great time, and I appreciate all the lessons, and friendships, and relationships, and all the cool stuff that I got to do. Because how many people get to live a life like I have? Not many, at least by my estimation. By my estimation, it's been pretty cool. Is Mom back in here? I can't see the other people. I'm trying to figure this out here. Yeah, maybe I'll go grab a copy of the book here and see. I don't even know how long have I been live for. I'm just like chatting it up here, huh? Ooh. Let's see. Let me see here, guys. Anyways, so yeah, that's a little bit about stories and what I've done. I don't know. Oh, Dana, you said you wanted to know more about Zone of Genius. Well, that's hour 13. Cool. Zone of Genius is cool. I just, I think that's one of the things I like most. That's why I like everything that I'm doing now, because I feel like it's in my zone of genius. It's writing, it's speaking, it's really talking about all the stuff that I've learned, which is, for those that know me, I mean, Dan has known me for a long time. I've always kind of been obsessed. Like, I'm just like, I like to learn. I like to figure stuff out. I like to do different things. And I feel like my zone of genius is taking a lot of different concepts and then trying to package them down. And I'm getting better at it, at packaging those things down into simple structures that I can then re-deliver to people in a more simplified version. So rather than somebody having to go read 500 books, it's like, all right, how can I distill the most important, salient principles from 500 books down into a single book that can take somebody from A to B, from 0 to 1? And so that's something that I really enjoy doing, and I think Zone of Genius is developed, right? So it's not something that you necessarily are born with. Some people discover it earlier, and some people later. If you look at like athletes, and I don't really watch sports, guys. If you can't tell, because I'm not watching the Super Bowl apparently. Athletes, someone like Tom Brady, is like, hey, that person figured out sort of their zone of genius for that phase of their life early on, and it's that flow state. It's that state where they're just sort of in the zone, and it's this. You go from awareness to almost just operating at this higher level, and you're not even conscious of it. You're just doing it. It's like magic. Magic is happening, and that's what's so fun. It's so cool when you get there. And I think if people haven't ever gotten there, it's like sometimes it takes 1,000 hours, man. It takes 1,000 hours. Like, you don't start off writing and you're just magically a good writer right at the start. A lot of the world's best writers, they've got 10,000 hours of it, but you don't really enter that zone of genius, that flow state. It might take 1,000 hours to get there, but once you do get there, you're just hitting it. You just know. You just have this vibration, like you're literally on a higher frequency of operating. And no matter your writing style or whatever, it's like you're going to be spitting out awesome stuff. Well, why? Because that's part of it. Yep, long time. 33. Dan, I'm only 25. What are you talking about? Known me 33 years. One can dream, right? But getting into that flow state, and I think that's what they experience. If you think about like early relationships, et cetera, it's like you just get into a flow, man. You just get into these really cool things, and stuff it's like magic. It's like everything works for you, and it's awesome. And so what I think a lot of people struggle with is they never really find that zone of genius, and they follow what culture tells them to, and they do all the quote practical things. Oh, hey, I'm back. Maybe. Slow connection. All right. Not sure what's going on with the camera here. Not sure if y'all can see me. Yeah, it said it disconnected. Who knows, guys? We're on Starlink over here. So, thank you, Elon. Cool. Looks like maybe I'm back. Maybe that is my cue to tie this up and call it a night for this one. But man, I don't even remember where I was at. So, zone of genius. Anyways, yeah, zone of genius, guys. Like, if you can find where you're most uniquely positioned, and if you can find that area, it's like you're not always passionate about something initially. Sometimes you have to build and develop that passion. Sometimes you have to build and develop what you get really good at. And that's exactly where I'm at. That's exactly what I'm working on doing is I'm just trying to get better every single day. And one thing that I wasn't taught as well growing up is how to make decisions and how to actually say no. And I think this is probably one of the more important things, because learning to say no to a lot of the stuff so that you can say yes to the things that really matter, it's so important. And I didn't learn that until the last few years. And so that's part of getting in your zone of genius is you have to say no to almost everything. So if you look at somebody like Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger, Charlie Munger passed last year, but one of the greatest investors of all time, they say no to almost everything. So the same thing happened with Steve Jobs. He talks about it. He's like, I'm just as proud of all the things that we said no to as the things that we said yes to, because it was saying yes to the things that really mattered, but they had to say no to 1,000 other things, an infinite number of other things. And so if you really want to get into your zone of genius, if you really want to tap into these things, then that's important. Learning to say no, learning to dial in and just be like, dude, this is where I'm meant to be. And I talk about it in my book because this is one of like almost the paradoxes, actually. And people get confused when I say this because when people are young, I don't think they explore enough. I don't think they actually go out there and try different things. And so they optimize too early. And I almost did this. It's like, hey, try to choose a career path at 18 years old, go to college, pick that career path, and then work that career for the next 40 fucking years. Like, give me a break. That's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I just disagree with it. Now, there's a very small percentage of the population that's going to be perfect for them. But for a large portion of the population, they don't know what they want. They haven't experienced enough of the world. And so what do? They optimize too early, and then they try to do this thing, and they get this degree, and then they get stuck in this job, and then they get stuck in fear about all the things that they can't, that they wish they had done, and they get trapped by fear. They get trapped by these things, and then they don't live the life that they could. They don't live the life that they were meant to. They don't live the life that would have really, truly satisfied them in their soul, like soul level, man. And you can do almost anything. You just have to learn how to do it in a way that is congruent with you. Like, you want to be a musician, you want to be an artist, you want to be a chef, great. There were people making millions of dollars in all of those. And there's also people making no money in all of those. And so it's up to you to find those things and then be like, okay, I want to do this and I feel more creative, but I also have to figure out a way so that I can build and design the life that I'm proud of, that I want, that makes sense to me. And sometimes you just need to be exposed to a few more ideas, to a few more big concepts. And once you do that, it's powerful, dude. It's powerful because you can do a lot of stuff that you didn't even know that you could. And there's a lot of opportunities out there and a lot of ways to do those things bigger, but you may just not be aware of the opportunities in them. You may not be aware of how to go about monetizing them or bringing them to the world on a bigger, broader platform. And it can be difficult because it's what's the word I'm searching for? Like it's not always obvious. It's not always obvious. But if you'll stay committed to that, if you'll not optimize too early, go out there, you'll find the stuff. Unless, of course, you know. And then you go down that journey. I think the reward of that journey is so powerful. It's so wonderful. I love it, Dana. I know you have. So for those of you watching, Dana has made huge shifts, middle of her life. And I, and I don't know everything about your story, Dana, but like the first half of Dana's life was really good. But I'm even more excited for the second half. Because the second half, Dana is far more on purpose. She's far more on truth. She's far more doing things that are in alignment and with congruence to her and what she believes in and what she desires, the impact, the influence that she wants to have. And I think the fulfillment on the other side of that is so powerful. So if you're watching this at some point and you're wondering, like, how do I do this? Well, the first step is getting on truth. Like, the first step is admitting and getting truthful with yourself. And Richard Feynman talks about this. He says the first principle is you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. And so the first step is to be able to disconnect from all the programming, to disconnect from all the stuff that you thought you should do, that all the stuff that you thought were the things, or you were told to do, and then to figure out, like, what is it that you really want to do? Because most times the rules that we have that we think make up life are imaginary. They're just in our heads, and we can do so much more, and we can do so much better. And it just takes knowing that and admitting that, and then getting on truth with that everything starts to change on the back end. So, guys, I think that's a great place to tie it up right there. I think that's powerful. Dan, I'm proud of you for making those choices. I know they're not always easy. I know they're not always, I talk about it in my book that there's a trough in personal development. So you go into something and you're like, oh, I'm going to make a big decision, and you kind of ride this high. And then there's this huge dip in here. There's a huge dip from this high of making new decisions. And in that dip, you lose a lot of friends, you make changes, and people, they want a high degree of certainty oftentimes. And so in that, people are like, I don't know where to put you. I don't know the bucket to put you. And you're doing things that seem out of character. And it's like, yeah, these are out of character. These are out of the person that you knew for the last 20 years. But why? Of course they are. Because I'm not satisfied with that person who I've been for the last 20 years. I want to be more. I know I've got more to give. I know I've got more to do. And so it can be lonely, and it can be difficult. And so that's where a lot of people in that, so like you go up for this little high of making this decision, and you go into this trough. And then most people at the bottom there, they circle back around, and they kind of give in, and they do the same thing over again, and they do the same thing over again, because it's comfortable, because it's hard, because it's understanding those things that it's lonely. And it can be where you have to develop those new relationships, and you have to develop a new relationship with yourself. You're literally learning how to communicate with yourself in a different way. You're learning how to influence yourself in a different way. And so much of that is, it can just be a lot. It can be a lot. So don't discourage, don't give up, keep going with all of that, no matter where you're at there, because it gets better, and it's really freaking cool. So, Dana, couldn't agree more. We are supposed to grow and change until we die. I think it was Dr. Benjamin Hardy who has a quote in one of his books, I don't know which one, that human beings are works in progress that mistakenly think that we're done. And so many people they're like 25, 35, 45. And it's like, bro, you're a work in progress, but you think you're done. You think this is who you are. It's like, so one of my neighbors up the road, I was talking with him the other night. Great guy, wonderful guy. And I think he's 60. But I can tell he's got a fire under his ass. He's got fire there. He's not done. He may just be getting warmed up. And he may do more from 60 to 90 than he did from 0 to 60. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting. So I love people, guys. I love people. I'm excited for people. And I think people are great. And I think we've got some of the best people in the world here in America. And I just love all of you if you're watching. So I'm pretty key on that. So Dana, thanks for tuning in. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in. If you watch this later, appreciate you watching. I'm signing off now. Be great, everyone. I love you, and have a great evening.